Hey, Magic Man here, and today I want to talk about one of the game mechanics that I kind of feel like are not quite understood at the lower levels, just from what I've seen past couple of days of playing Tier 4 or 5, and that is armor angling. Right now, I'm in my Tier 8 Japanese cruiser, the Atago, and what you see in front of me here is the Tier 8 Japanese battleship, the Amagi. Now, this battleship I think has 305 millimeters or 350 millimeters of armor, and in a situation like this, where this battleship is got his bow pointed towards me, the angle at which my shells are striking the armor of this Amagi is gonna make the armor thicker than it really is. And what I mean is, as the angle of incidence increases, the effective armor value increases. And what'll happen is that your armor piercing shells are going to bounce off the armor and do no damage. And as you can see there, I got 2 bounces out of that, and that's because even though you can penetrate this armor from the side, when it's angled like this, the effective armor is more than your shell can overmatch, so you can't penetrate and you can't do damage. But whenever you find yourself in a situation where you're fighting a battleship and he's bow on, you should be firing HE at him. But if for some reason you don't want to switch to HE, let's say you're fighting another cruiser and you think he might be about to give you a broadside, but he's not yet, you can fire your AP into the superstructure and still do damage. Now, on the Amagi it's kind of hard because the superstructure is a little small, but as you can see right there, shell penetrated and did about 1,500 points of damage. But the rest of them were non-penetrating hits, and they did 0 damage. And there were even a couple of ricochets there. But let's say you come out from cover, or for whatever reason you were not seen, and suddenly you find the broadside of a battleship. Even in a cruiser with, say, 6-inch guns, you can still do some pretty good damage on a battleship broadside. Now, if you're in a heavy cruiser, like I currently am, anything with 8-inch guns, on some of these battleships, you can penetrate the citadel of these battleships in close range. I'm talking about 5 kilometers or less. Anything more than that, and your shell's probably going to lose enough velocity and penetrating power that while you're still going to do a lot of damage with your AP, you're not going to penetrate a citadel. But just keep that in mind when you're fighting a battleship. If you can get broadside in a cruiser that has 8-inch guns or more, go ahead and shoot some AP into him. You're going to do a lot of damage if you can hit the citadel. And you're definitely going to reload faster than he is. But that's all I really have to say about that. As far as armor angling goes, your AP shots are going to be very ineffective, even at a slight angle. Let me show you what I'm talking about here. Let's say you shoot at this ship broadside on, you get a citadel, and he starts turning his nose to you. Even at, say, let's see here. Gotta back up a little bit, get a good... Let's say even at about 45 degrees. You can actually still hit the citadel. That is still enough of a broadside to whack the citadel of this ship. But once you get around to, I don't know, 50 to 60 degrees of armor, or not armor, but 50 to 60 right there, as you saw. There wasn't a whole lot of difference there, maybe 15 degrees worth of angling difference, and I went from penetrating a citadel to bouncing the shots. that's all it really takes to bounce a shot. Just that little bit of angling. So most battleships, they're probably going to point their bow at you and wait for you to turn. But you should never show your broadside to a battleship. Especially if you're in a cruiser like the Japanese that has torpedoes. Just go ahead and sail right on up to that battleship if you've got no support and launch some torps at him. Now he's going to be able to overmatch your armor and penetrate you, but as long as you're giving him a slight angle so that it doesn't go straight through the nose, then most of the time you'll be just fine. You'll still take damage, but you will be just fine. And one other thing I want to talk about other than armor angling, as you could see the effectiveness of it there, is damage saturation. And what I mean by that, each one of these battleships in the game, they have 4 sections. They have the nose, basically what I call the forward superstructure, then you have a rear superstructure, and then there's the aft of the ship. And every battleship in the game has 4 sections, and each one of them is capable of catching on fire. Each one of them is capable of being flooded, and they all have a certain amount of hit points. Basically, they can only sustain so much damage, and then they are saturated with damage. And usually you can tell where those part of the ships are at because, like this, that's just a superstructure that has superficial damage there. It's blackened out. But if a ship's taking a lot of damage and those areas are saturated, you're going to see that because the ship is going to be like black from here to here, or like it'll be black from, say, just forward to here. And I've actually seen this a lot in games. I know that if I want to do any damage or have an easier time starting fires, I should probably hit one of the sections that don't look like they've had a barbecue going on them all day. And I'm actually going to demonstrate a little bit of this here. Let's see here. I might actually sink this ship. Launch some torpedoes there. And you see that did 18,000 damage. Let's see if I can get my ship in position. Well, I can't show it actually because the ship doesn't have enough health, but basically if I were to hit him with another 2 torpedoes, they would not do 18,000 damage. It would probably do about half that, maybe 8,000, with the same amount of torpedo hits, and that's from the damage saturation. The more damage a section sustains, typically the less damage it can take, until it reaches 0. And that's all I wanted to talk about today. Thanks for watching. Hope this helps you a lot.